I just realized I'm muted. Hi. So today we're gonna be looking at Varshaavan, which we've been working on in the past, and then we are going and within Varshaavan we're gonna be looking at two cities, Sirius, which is the place where the Centaurs live, and Kenilmo, which is where the Giantkin are. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at those. And do basically what we've done in the past is just here, let me go ahead and pull it up for you. Yes. Alrighty. So what we did in the past was we looked at, so we built out Dakal, a lot of Dakal, not the minor cities, but the major cities. And we just did like some government stuff, some environmental stuff, some what they do with water stuff. And we also, in the past, have done another city in Varshaavan for the goblins, which I had a lot of fun with. So, the goblins, we did, their housing, we did their, basically their mindset, which is kind of already determined for most of these cities. We did, what they eat, their social hierarchy, their defense, their travel, their religion. And we kind of built that stuff out, which is a lot of fun. I'm excited to do again. So, sorry, I'm tired. Yeah, let's just hop right into it. I'm not as excited about the Giantkin, but I'm very excited about the Centaurs. So, part of that is because the Centaurs, so how Varshaavan works is basically all of the different families, all the different types of creatures, all send one representative whenever there's a dispute between any of the territories, to Jugad, which is the capital of Varshaavan. And they basically do a little vote and be like, hey, this person's wrong, this person's right. And that's how they basically settle bigger scale issues. So in terms of like individual city issues, there's not really a way to decide those. They basically have their own little countries within the country that has its own rules. They don't have to necessarily listen to the greater rules of the country unless they go outside of their territory. So basically what we're doing is making a bunch of little countries within this one larger country, which is kind of why it takes a little bit of time. And it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun doing these personally. So let's go ahead and get started on these real fast. Centaurs and their variants stake their claim here. So the centaurs are fun. I forgot what I was saying earlier. But centaurs are fun because they're a little bit more on the lawful scale to an extent. But they also are widely respected by the other territories for being able to have a reasonably unbiased opinion. Of course, everyone has their own biases, but the centaurs are known for being particularly unbiased and more of taking in the biases of the territories that they're considering, that they're judging on. So let's talk about centaurs. I want to do something real fast. I want to take a quick picture of this. Hang on. There. I want to grab a little photo of this so that I can get a little information on it. We have a little bit of an outline to work off of. So Wow. Wow. Okay, if you want to take your own screenshot, here it is for now, but I'm gonna put this off to the side. Oh. Alright. So, goblins. Goblins, goblins, goblins. Centaurs. They stake their claim here. So, the peoples of what is this place? Cirrus. Are known for being particularly unbiased. Whoops. Oh, let's do a dash. Or rather, taking into consideration the biases of the peoples in argument with each other, essentially setting aside their own biases for the sake of being reasonably fair. I also want to toss in a little note here that centaurs in all their all their forms in their variants, centaurs let's do they come in the forms of a humanoid mixed with an does an equestrian definition. Performer on horseback, so equestrian. Specifically, word that is a camel equestrian is, I think, the idea that I'm looking for. Camel riders are simply riders. Let's do beasts of burden, maybe? Come in the forms of humanoid mixed with a beast of burden. Including, but not limited to, horses, deer, giant goats, etc. The people of Cirrus are known for being particularly unbiased, or rather taking into consideration the biases of the people in argument with each other. Perfect. All right. What's their culture like? Let's think. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put something up. One moment. Wow. Perfect. 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 All right. Also, I want to do something tonight, so I do want to play some Ori and the Blind Forest. The first attempt at doing so was a little scuffed, I'm not gonna lie. So, we're gonna go ahead and run through that again. And I did not get very far into the game the first time, so I don't think it will be too terrible this time around. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. I'll probably end stream and restart it tonight. Or maybe I'll play Valorant. Me and Valorant are in a love-hate relationship right now. People just don't know how to have fun when they're playing video games, and it's really sad to hear people sad on the game. So may do that. Let's take a look at this. So let's take a look at our goblins. We have a little bit on the way that they view stealing. So something that's a little off kilter about them. We have, they're not territorial, no concept of family. I think that centaurs would have a very similar, I think that in comparison to a lot of the other places, they would have a very, very similar way of viewing stuff, essentially like humanoids, but with the added burden of having a body type, essentially, that is different from everybody else. So, they understand that not everything, unfortunately, is catered to the way that they are shaped, which would make them very, I would think, have basically a two-sided coin of understanding humanoids and understanding other more monstrous races. So my nose is itchy today. I think that their culture is much like any other in this is Rundar, right? Rundar. Yeah, because Aylmore and Latour. So Rundar, which is the continent that we're currently working in. Their culture is much like any other humanoids in Rundar. With the added empathy that comes with having a body type that is not always accommodated by not always accommodated by their bipedal relatives. Bipedal means 2 feet, right? But hello? Bipedal.
Bipedal.
Perfect. 2 legs for walking. Bipedal relatives. Perfect. So I think that especially with their closeness to the border of Dakal, compared to like other places, I think they would also just have a really good relationship with more humanoid-esque people. Their culture is much like any other humanoids in Rundar, with the added empathy that comes with having a body type that is not always accommodated by their bipedal relatives. I need to put my mic wire up. That'll have to do. That'll have to do. Okay, so take a nice little gander over here. Housing. What would their housing be like? So horses, for the most part, aside from occasionally when they do sleep on their sides or their stomachs, or like, you know, curled up like they do, most of the time they sleep standing up. And that is evolutionarily wise, mostly because it takes a lot of effort for a horse to get up, and also when a horse twists around a lot, their intestines can get all knotted and have some issues. So as I was saying, I get distracted. So in order for them to effectively defend themselves and effectively be able to run away, they have to sleep standing up so that A, they don't get their guts twisted, and B, they can get away faster. So what a lot of herds, if I remember back in my horse squirrel days, if I remember correctly, what I read about terms of their herd behavior, they would often have most most of them standing up, and then only a few would be laying down, and then there would be those taking watch. I think that people kind of ignore the fact that animals are very much like humans. Okay, so as we were going about all day, so taking into account that they would probably be, oh, you know what? I saw something the other day. Hang on, let me look. Centaur sleeping arrangements. Yes! There's these. I saw these online. Who were they by? They're by somebody though. These are all by somebody. I can't make out the name in the background. Fortunate Centaurs. Fortunate enough to have a blog though. The Arting Ace is the one who responded with this. Okay, so zoom on in here. They would probably have just big cushions like this, I think. They would probably have this for travel, but I don't think this would be taken into consideration in their home. But I love this. This is the one that I was thinking of. So their house would have to accommodate that to some degree, but you'd also have to think about how sorry, I pointed at my screen. This part would have to be not too cushy, because they would have to be able to stand up on it and not fall. So simple, supportive, or with cushion added. Angle can be adjusted easily. Canvas. I do like this. This is so cute. This is so cute. Adorable. Stretchies. I like this a lot. I'm actually going to copy this down so that we can talk about their housing. And we're gonna toss that right there. How do they stretch? So let's say housing. I guess a better question would be, are they more herd animals, which makes sense because of the horse side, or are they more loner animals? My guess is probably more herd animals, so they very much help each other out. They probably, my guess would be to make life super comfortable. And because it would just be easier to maneuver around with, I think, multiple people. I think centaurs would probably live with like friends and family until they get to the point where they find a significant other, and then they would separate from the herd and get their own living situation. But even then, I feel like centaurs would probably be a little bit more polyamorous than other humanoid-esque peoples. And B, I think that even if they weren't polyamorous, they would probably have multi-generational at the very least, if not multi-separate families, like a bunch of friends and their significant others living together. I think that would probably be something that centaurs would do. So they let's talk about them growing up. They are herd creatures out of both let's just do they are herd creatures. And live with their families or friends right up until they find a significant they find a significant others. Parentheses. They are herd creatures and live with their families or friends right up until they find a significant others. This is parentheses, by the way. And as I like to do in my game, this is ritual casting. I'm a big hand talker. Which is also fun for Dungeons and Dragons. They're herd creatures and live with their families or friends right up until they find significant others. Even then, it is not unusual to find multi-generational or multi-family friends and their SOs all living in the same household. Perfect. So I would imagine that buildings. Okay, let's think about buildings. So this is how I die. So, housing. What would be the easiest? If I were a centaur, what would be the easiest type of door for me to open? Something with a handle further up. Houses have probably single doors because, like, for humans, we can use our legs to, like, kick out and hold something with relative ease. But for a horse, they can't really extend their limbs out to the side. They extend it backwards and forwards. So I'll be right back. My dog needs to go out. Okay, so for horses, they can't extend their limbs side to side. So they can extend their limbs front to back, which means that probably single doors would be the easiest for them to deal with, instead of double doors. I don't think double doors would be common at all. I doubt that you would probably even find a double door anywhere, except for like big storage facilities. So houses have single doors, single door, oh, it should be single dash door entrances, and have their handles higher up for accessibility. Perfect. Let's take another look at this. So when looking at centaurs, and I love this a lot, I'm actually gonna, since I'm here, I'm gonna just toss this in chat, just so that anyone who happens to cross by this has access if they'd like it. So I like the idea of big beds for one, but I also love the idea of them sharing sleeping spaces a lot. I really like this. don't think I can put images in. Let's see. Copy. I don't think so. Oh, you can? I love Asgars. Bop. This is so exciting. Okay, sick. Copy. Pasta. I can't believe I can put pictures in here. This is so exciting. Let's see. A nice little this. A nice little this. I like making my pictures smaller because I can always just pop them out like that. And then Control Z. And then let's do this one as our last little development. This is so exciting. Just a by the way, I do use Asgar's fantasy map generator. And that's how I originally made this map. But it so what I did was I randomly generated a map and then I just edited it to my preferences. And maybe one of these days I'll do a big in-depth thing about how to use Asgars, but yeah, we're discovering new things every single day. So I'd like, hello Mr. Meatball, welcome back. I'd like to pitch the idea of communal living areas in a single-story building in the style of a Viking hall. Yeah, I do like that. Communal living areas, for sure. I think also because I'm thinking about how they would handle hygiene, because horses are very obviously larger creatures and a little bit more wonky to build a bathing facility for. Having a horse body means that in order to build above your head means building ramps, which seems too much for individual homes. Yeah, I agree. I definitely think that, especially because it's really hard to go up stairs for horses. And especially if they do not have any kind of gripping power. So there would be like no tile. Tile would not exist in this community. They would probably all have very packed dirt floors, because that would be the easiest on their hooves, I think. So even them. Multi-generational living in the same household. Houses have single door entrances and their handles higher up for accessibility. The ground is packed dirt. The ground for each house is packed dirt, as that is the easiest on those. I would say that I kind of like the idea of their houses having like grass flooring, and some people having like indoor gardens that is just their floor. I think that's so fun. But that wouldn't really work for the human side. They would probably eat more human-esque food than horse food. But I do like the idea of some people having just gardens that are their floors, you know? So some houses have dutifully cared for gardens that make up the majority of their floor. Grass is also sometimes preferred as a cushion on the ground. Speaking of cushions, I would, so the thing about horse hooves, let's Google horse hoof real fast. Horse hoof images, the underside, there we go. So the thing about horse hooves, you can't quite see it in that one. You can see it more in this one. But horse hooves have grooves in them, and it makes it so that dirt and stuff gets really packed in there. I would imagine that they would have like hoof picks on the outside of their house to just like get all the excess dirt off. Or maybe long bristled welcome mats to like get it all out of there. So let's look at hoof pick. So we have the, I gotta let my dog back in. I'll be right back. 1 second. Oh, sleep up. Okay, so hoof picks. A lot of hoof picks have, so this is like your very basic hoof pick, but a lot of them have these bristles at the end so that you can brush the dirt out. It's also useful because, horseshoes, are kind of hard to get in there, so you kind of just brush around them. Let's see. So I think that there would be like emergency hoof picks, or maybe like just, I would imagine that they would be reasonable enough to have hoof picks of some kind. But I imagine they would have hoof picks like outside of their house, and probably also they would have a brush of some kind, a hoof brush, if you will, next to their sleeping quarters. So let's take a nice little look over here. The my link is in way. There we go. Now it's out of the way. Okay. Let's do all houses have a little hook which holds a hoof pick and brush for cleaning off before coming inside the home. I would imagine that you wouldn't want too much excess dirt coming into your house, just because that would make the ground uneven eventually. Some houses have dutifully cared for gardens that make up the majority. Centaur manicurist is on my list of random NPCs now. So the ferrying process is so interesting, because what they do for horse hooves is because they grow like fingernails. So you have to literally file down the edge of their hooves. And in the wild, that would happen naturally by them running around, and also like rocks and things that exist in the wild that we don't want our horses to have because they can go lame from it. But it's so the natural wearing down process does not happen when you are a domesticated horse. So they have to literally file down. So you could have a centaur manicurist NPC that just literally has a giant emery board. Oh, this one's fun too. Centaur wheelchairs. So horses, fun fact, if they go lame, a lot of the time they have to be put down because their legs are so delicate. So I love what has happened in the past is people have built like these giant slings to hold horses up off of their legs while a damaged leg is healing. And that's like a pretty much the only way that you can really do that. This is so interesting. A mess. Oh my god. A mess. That's so fun. I love this. People who do like this is also fun. Copy. Okay, we're putting this in there too. The sleeping table. You'll love to see it. I'm so enamored by these little things. It's so fun. Speaking of cushions, so we did the entrances. There are handles higher up for accessibilities. All houses have a little hook which holds a hoof pick and brush for cleaning off before coming inside the home. I just want to say a little hoof pick, and a welcome mat of sorts with longer bristles for cleaning off before coming inside the home. The ground for each house is packed dirt, as that is the easiest on their hooves. Some houses have dutifully cared for gardens that make up the majority of their floor. Grass is also sometimes preferred as a cushion on the ground. Speaking of cushions, bedrooms, if there are any in the house, are usually all cushion. Yeah. If there are any in the house, are usually all cushion. Cushion. If they aren't, there is usually a bedroll nearby. They also have Centaur recliners. Centaur recliners. There's something like that. It's more like a lawn chair than anything. Like not a lawn chair, a beach chair. Like a you know, those ones. They also have Centaur recliners. Which range from cushioned to not. Many surfaces are also equipped for rest by being so the spine, let's look at the spine. The spine, so the human spine is interesting because we're not technically supposed to be able to hold all of the weight that is on our spine at all given times of the day. So there has to be a balance between horses who rarely sleep laying down and humans who basically have to sleep laying down because otherwise their spine will get messed up. But I don't know if this is the answer. I just don't think... I don't know if their spine would work that way. So... let's look at horses. Horse. No. Horse. Images. Let's look at these bad boys. So their spine goes from here, and then this is their essentially their shoulder blade. Their shoulder blade's down here, but this is, it leads up into here, and there's kind of a, the horse's neck is able to lay down. Let's take a look at horse sleeping. Standing up. The way they sleep is a little bit... it's not really like craned down. It's not really like this, even though that is an example of it. It's more like, oh, they're resting their chin on the side. It's so cute. Anyways, it's more like a straight line across from I forget what that's called. This part. I forget what it's called. That little bone. That's so it goes straight across from there for the most part. You guys are awake. These guys are sleeping. Oh, they're adorable. Anyways. Yeah, mostly just straight across rather than craned down. So this is reasonable. I just, let's take a look at the centaur bones. Centaur bones. So... normal horse, normal human, pass. Their spine is so... the spinal combination is so weird. This would not work for a human spine, I think. Back. This is a little bit more reasonable, I think. I think it would be reasonable for them to sleep like this. I take back what I was saying. By being at, it's not hip level. Okay, let's look at parts of a horse. Parts of a horse. Withers! The withers! I was thinking hawk, but that's not right. Where's the hawk? The hawk is this way here. Okay, so at the, by being at withers height, the height of the withers, so the humanoid portion can lay down while the legs lock into place. Okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, housing. Those with close bonds also sleep on each other's. But it's not correct. Cask and barrel. Dog. Crew. Rump is the word I'm looking for. Each other's rumps. Rumps. All of this is scientifically depicted below. Wow, wow, wow. Perfect. Alrighty. Single door. I forgot to mention our single storied. Oops, comma. Perfect. Alright, housing done. Let's take a look at our goblins. See what else we can do. So housing. Food. Let's take a look at this. In terms of the intestines, yeah. Lug's stomach. So it would be mostly influenced by the human half. Let's look at a horse stomach. See what that was based off of. Stomach is one. So the thing about horses actually is that they cannot puke. It has to go out the other end, which is what causes a condition called colic, which is where it's basically a stomach ache but a lot more serious. Horses can die from it. So I imagine that's because their stomach is shaped like that. Stomach is shaped like this compared to a human stomach. Human stomach. Stomach is there. It's shaped similarly, but a horse's is more like twisted to the side. So let's take a look at this. It's more shaped like a horse's than a human's. Centaur anatomy. Scientifically speaking. But they lungs. Stomach would be back here for this one. Open image in new tab. Proportionally long their arms. Diaphragm. Large stomach and liver is 10. Here? Perhaps? Yeah. This one has more of a human-esque stomach, I think. Kidney, intestine, stomach. 10! Be down here. So this is more of a horse stomach. I would imagine that in order, let's talk about this scientifically. So in order for you to be able to create enough energy to fuel such a large body, I would imagine the stomach would have to be larger than a human's torso would allow. So I'm gonna go with it's probably more of a horse stomach, and in that case they're probably more prone to colic than to stomach issues than a human would be. So let's talk about food. Eating habits is probably. So, while centaurs are not strictly vegetarian, it does agree with I didn't put a T, I put a C. It does agree with their stomach more. Their digestive system is located in the we're gonna say with referenced here as their horse horse half for ease. Perfect. So now we're gonna do is located in the horse half. Their digestive system is located in the horse half, and is shaped and functions much like a horse's would. This also means that centaurs and their is ilk derogatory to some degree? Ilk definition. It feels like ilk has like a negative connotation to it. To me. You wouldn't say so? Okay, maybe it's just me. Their ilk. And their ilk. This also means that centaurs and their ilk are more prone to stomach problems. Do we want to canonically have them not be able to puke? Maybe there's like a primary stomach where everything kind of passes. Maybe there's like a liquid stomach and a solid stomach. I just can't imagine somebody being a centaur and not drinking in D&D, you know? I feel like centaurs would have a lot of things to drink about. Including but not limited to back problems, leg problems, sleeping problems. I'm gonna say stomach problems and can only throw up liquids. It just feels wrong. It feels wrong. I know that this is D&D. But I like to keep things relatively scientific in the dumbest way possible. Like, what would likely happen in terms of their anatomy? So I imagine that maybe their stomach is just shaped different. Can cows puke? Uncommon in cattle. Cows throw up their food. Soft wads to reach you and break into smaller pieces. Okay, so cows do... Let's look at a cow's stomach then. Images. How is it shaped? There. It's shaped similarly. I don't know that word. Horse stomach. They have multiple stomachs. I forgot. So maybe it's not unreasonable that they would have more than one stomach. That way, if something does not sit well, they would be capable of throwing it up. Welcome to D&D. Okay. Okay, so let's revamp this. Let's revamp this. Okay. Their digestive system is twofold. The primary stomach that processes food first is in the human, and the rest of the digestive system is located in the horse haft. More prone to stomach problems if the first stomach does not catch an upsetting, does not process or reject, we'll say reject for puking, or reject a particular, if the first stomach does not process or reject a particular piece of food or drink. I would imagine that this would also make them capable of drinking more, not only because of their physical capacity, but also also because they have two stomachs to process it. How does the body, well, because it would go through the liver, not the stomach. The liver would be the primary processing. How does the body process alcohol? Important questions. With everything being they met in a tavern, you gotta consider these things. After alcohol is swallowed, it's absorbed from the small intestine into the veins that collect blood from the stomach and bowels. Carried to the liver, we're exposed to enzymes. How does the body metabolize alcohol? Metabolize alcohol to acetaldehyde, a highly toxic substance. Our body literally poisons us? Sick. Acetaldehyde is further metabolized down to another less active byproduct called acetate, which is broken down into water and carbon dioxide for easy elimination. Let's talk about how does the liver one standard drink per hour for men are about, in addition to liver processing, about 10% of alcohol is eliminated through sweat, breath, and urine. Oh. Alcohol itself is poison, so it gets broken down into poisons. Doesn't stop you from drinking it. Yeah, that's fair. Wow. But what that thing was saying earlier was that it breaks it down into an extremely it'd be a highly toxic substance. Carcinogen. Acetate. I don't care that much enough about it to question the science, that particular science. I'm more curious as to if a person having multiple stomachs would impact how they would process alcohol, if that makes sense. If we had two stomachs, somebody has to have asked this before. Two stomachs, would we be less susceptible to alcohol? Probably only that they could drink more volume-wise. Probably true. Brain, heart, liver, pancreas. I would imagine, yeah, it looks like the stomach doesn't have much, if anything, to do with the process of alcohol. does the stomach process alcohol at all? Your stomach lining absorbed in the small intestine. Alcohol occurs in the liver, which we know. 20% absorbed through the stomach. So you would probably be able to drink a little bit. You'd probably be able to process a little bit more alcohol. Just slightly. The Centaurs are capable of processing. Let's do it. So like 20% is absorbed through the stomach. So if it went through 2 stomachs. So 120%. 40%. I have to do math in my head. It'd be able to absorb about 14% more alcohol. More alcohol than a normal human. Math. Science. Absorption and processing isn't the same thing. I think it means you'd get drunk faster with a second stomach. What? How long does it take for alcohol to get to the liver? About an hour for your liver to break down. Probably pretty quickly. How long quickly? 1 hour. Heh. So what we were talking about in terms of, so the stomach absorbs. This is it, right? No. No. 25% of the alcohol is absorbed straight from your stomach into the bloodstream. As compared to put into your liver, which then processes it. So, I guess the question would be, does the alcohol, the process of processing alcohol, is the drunkenness coming from the stomach part or from the liver part? Do you get drunk from your stomach or liver? Once you start consuming alcohol, your liver begins breaking it down. Faster than you can break it down. So yeah, your idea is correct that having 2 stomachs would probably make you drunk faster. That's fun. But your liver, when it's overloaded, it pushes all of those extra things into your bloodstream where it is stored. The drunkenness comes from the alcohol in your blood killing your brain cells. Yes. Is alcohol released from the stomach or directly into your bloodstream? Your liver would probably So your liver pushes stuff, when it's overloaded, it pushes stuff into the bloodstream, which makes you more drunk. Normal. Your stomach puts everything into the bloodstream, 20% into the bloodstream, which makes you drunk. So having two stomachs would put it into your bloodstream faster, which would make you more drunk. I won't call myself a professional drinker, but I've had plenty of practice. Nice. I think you would get drunk faster. But in terms of what part of drinking? What part of drinking makes you sick? Okay. Huh. I think all this has more or less made me realize that the difference between a centaur processing and a humanoid processing would probably be minimal at best. I have to sneeze. So I don't think this is worth anything, but it is fun to know. It is. I would imagine that you would get drunk slightly faster. Centaurs get drunk slightly faster because of their two stomachs. Perfect. What a ride. What a ride. Okay. So much. The NSA. Looking at my history and being like, what the fuck? Okay, let's take a look at these. Social hierarchy. I kind of actually want to move this section up to here. I don't know, do horse herd a hierarchy? Do they have horses? I may not get enough food and higher rank we keep 4 ones. Pecking order. Matriarchal. Live in a matriarchal society. Interesting. The gentle barn. I don't know if this is accurate because it just said stallion. The oldest and largest mother is the leader. Interesting. Delightful. Struggling. The oldest and largest mother is the leader. I think that's interesting because, like, if you think about humans and humanoids, in this world, humanoids, you have to think about how maybe some of them wouldn't want children, so I wonder if a mother, I think mothers would be extremely well respected because birth for horses is extremely difficult, because of the way that they are shaped. It's also like little baby horses foals come out in like this little encasing to protect the mother on the inside from the hooves of the child. So I would imagine that mothers would be very revered in this society. Mothers are very revered in society. Society. Yeah, mothers are very revered in this society. Given the amount of work it takes. The amount of, I would say, strength. Strength. It takes to, a fool. Okay, they are herd creatures, live with their families or friends right up until they find significant others. Even then, it's not unusual to find multi-generational, multi-family friends and their SOs, all living in the same household. The oldest and largest mother is the leader. Mothers are very revered in this society, given the amount of strength it takes to give birth to a foal. Anything else? Anything else? Whew. I don't think that there's anything else hierarchical wise that wouldn't be normal in like, other humanoid societies. Ow, I hit my knee. Yeah, I like that. Okay. We have defense, travel, and religion. I want to tackle religion. I don't think we're gonna get to giants tonight. I'm not gonna lie. I think that we're just gonna do centaurs. I can't believe that these I just get so into the ideas of how a society would progress over time. So we'll have to do each of these one by one, but there's so many. We may have to do more of these, like more often. There's just so many that we have to do. We'll think about that later. Maybe we'll put up a second day, depending. I think the only day between my two D&D groups is Wednesday. So we may do a Wednesday, Friday evening thing. We'll see. Okay, so the same day, sorry I didn't clarify, but the same day that I have one person in both of those groups, so one person in similarity to both of those groups, and she's not available Wednesdays and Fridays. So we could do Wednesdays and Fridays because she will never be available those days. Centaurs get drugged slightly faster because of their two stomachs. I forgot what we were doing. Defense, travel, religion. Defense. Some of it would be put, if you look here, some of it would be built, I think, into the side of the mountain. So I just don't, like, horses could not do that, but like goats could. So that's something to consider. I don't know if I want to put that detail on there. I think it's just something I will know. So let's talk about defense. Let's take a look at what we wrote for these guys. For the most part, they don't take fights unless they're in danger. On top of that, they don't believe in honorable, quote-unquote, fighting. Think. Oh, my rolls. I have rolls that are sitting out and rising. They smell so good. Centaurs get drunk slightly faster because of their two stomachs. Defense. How would a society like this function? The people of Centaurs. The people of Centaurs will talk before fighting. I would like to say that they do have an army of sorts, a group of trained warriors who are skilled in both hoof and sword. Both hoof and sword. People of Centaurs will talk before fighting. They do have a group of trained warriors who are skilled in both hoof and sword. There we go. Okay. My cards are all over the place. There we go. Struggling. Skilled in both hoof and sword. Check some. They do have a group of trained warriors who are skilled in both hoof and sword. Also, let me know what you think of this, but I'm thinking about opening up a Discord to those who would like to join. Just something for everyone to talk D&D on, maybe talk a little gaming on, you know, just a nice little safe space where we can all just have a little fun. I was thinking about it. I'm not sure though. We'll see. They do have a group of trained warriors who are skilled in both hoof and sword. I don't think there's much to say about the defense of Centaurs. I think they're very diplomatic human beings, and I think that they'd probably also just be good at the fighty fight, you know? So I think that's all there really is to say. Diplomatic and fighty fight. Dude. Let's take a look. I can't, this is bugging me, but it's also in the way when it's down here. So. Maybe I'll just like tie a knot onto my mic real fast. Second. Got too much in the way of people trying to sell you stuff. That's crazy. People using Discord for that? That's wild. I could never. Let's do travel. I would imagine that out of all of the beings, they would travel the most. So the people of Centaurs travel often and travel far, both because they are more capable than a bipedal person, but also because they enjoy people. They are known for being diplomatic. They are known for being diplomatic and good talkers. They're good talkers. They talk good. The people of Sirius often travel and travel far, both because they are more capable than a bipedal person, but also because they enjoy people. They are known for being diplomatic and good talkers. Yes. They are often found in the capital of the capital for leisure, and also all throughout Zakal. To the point, and this actually came up in one of our sessions because one of my players is a deer centaur, a deer elf centaur, and she she tried to go. She's like, I just stand at the table because there's probably nowhere for me to sit. I'm like, actually, they have little like chairs for you. So, and then they're like, you know when you turn a chair backwards and you like put your arms over it, it's kind of shaped like that. To the point where most establishments will have seating designed especially for them. Perfect. Religion. Let's take a look. I'm struggling today. No. Varia the gods. Let's look at overview. It's opening on my other screen. Oh my god. There we go. Alrighty, let's see. Okay, so I would imagine that they would probably worship Arathis. I feel like she aligns the most out of all of these gods. So let's do lawful neutral Arathis. Lawful good Bahamut. Lawful good Moradin. Lawful neutral Raven Queen. Yeah, I think they would probably feel the most kinship with Arathis. Arathis is the underlying god of civilizations. This is not true in my game. This is stuff I copied from Forgotten Worlds, but this part is not correct. She's the patron of the Minotaurs. That's so fun. Mordin Ayunch, perhaps the only god on cordial terms with Asmodeus. I don't think that's true. Because if you look at the Pact Primeval mythology, it like he makes a deal with the gods of law and the gods of law, and basically tricks them into agreeing to send all evil souls down to the 9 hells. Answer to vote for others with 3 of her many laws. Work with others to achieve your goals. I love this. This is exactly how I feel they would view this. I don't know if they would agree with that. They will tame the wilderness. Seek out new ideas, inventions, lands, and wilderness. Build cities and empires. I would imagine that they would mainly focus on her first tenant. Whoops. Copy. The Centaurs of the Centaurs are proprietors. Am I using that word right? Proprietor. Owner. That's not what I mean. They talk a lot about it. They push it onto other people. Are blank of Arathis, of the first tenant. That's not right. Tenants of law. Tenant of law. Tenant. It's not tenant, it's of the first law of Erathis. Maybe I'll find it in another one. Hang on. Commands is a good one. Commands. Commands. Directions. First law of Arathis. Work with others to achieve your goal. Community and order are always stronger than individuals. Proponents is not right. Proponents, that's the word. Proponents of the first law of Arathis. Work with others to achieve your goals. Community and order always stronger than individuals. While they do not overtly worship any god, this would be one. Any of them would say most aligns with the city and its views. Just a very lawful, neutral standpoint for almost everything. Alrighty, so we've got centaurs and their varied stake claim here. Centaurs come in the forms of a humanoid mixed with a beast of burden, referenced here as their horse half for ease, including but not limited to horses, deer, giant goats, etc. The peoples of Cyrus are known for being particularly unbiased, or rather taking into consideration the biases of the peoples in argument with each other. Their culture is much like any other humanoids in Rundar, with the added empathy that comes with having a body type that is not always accommodated by their bipedal relatives. Social hierarchy. They are herd creatures and live with their families or friends right up until they find a significant others. Even then, it is not unusual to find multi-generational or multi-family friends and their significant others all living in the same households. The oldest and largest mother is the leader of the city. Mothers are very revered in this society given the amount of strength it takes to give birth to a foal. Housing. Houses are single-storied, have single-door entrances, and have their handles higher up for accessibility. All houses have a little hook, which holds a hoof pick, and a welcome mat of sorts with longer bristles for cleaning off before coming inside the home. The idea of the welcome mat having like little hoof outlines that they just scrape their hooves through, that's so fun. Anyways. The ground for each house is packed dirt, as that is the easiest on their hooves. Some houses have dutifully cared for gardens that make up the majority of their floor. Grass is also sometimes referred as a cushion on the ground. Speaking of cushions, bedrooms, if there are any in the house, are usually all cushion. If they aren't, there should be a comma here. If they aren't, there's usually a bedroll nearby. They also have Centaur recliners, which range from cushioned to not. Most surfaces are also equipped for rest by being at the height of the withers, so the humanoid portion can lay down while the legs lock into place. Those with close spawns also sleep on each other's rumps. All of this is depicted below. Eating habits. While centaurs are not strictly be vegetarian, it does agree with their stomach more. Their digestive system is twofold. The primary stomach that processes food first is in the human half, and the rest of the digestive system is located in the horse half, and is shaped and functions much like a horse's would. This also means that centaurs and their ilk are more prone to stomach problems if a first stomach does not process or reject a particular piece of food or drink. Centaurs get drunk slightly faster because of their two stomachs. Which both push we know why. We don't need to rehash it. The people of Sirius will talk before fighting. They do have a group of trained warriors who are skilled in both hoof and sword travel. The people of Sirius often travel far, both because they are more capable than a bipedal person, but also because they enjoy people. They are known for being diplomatic and good talkers. They are often found in the capital for leisure, and also all throughout Dakal, to the point where most establishments will have seating designed especially for them. Religion. The Centaurs of Sirius are proponents of the first law of Arathis. Work with others to achieve your goals. Community and order are always stronger than individuals. While they do not overtly worship any god, this would be the one any of them would say most of lines with the city and its views. I think that we did pretty good on this, honestly. So we've got the goblins done, and we've got the horse peoples done. Just a million more to go. I think there's like 13 total of these little cities. So we will be doing more of this. We have session 3 on for the campaign that this is all for. We have it Tuesday. So we will probably be doing session prep next week, and then the week after, if I don't decide to do Wednesdays and Fridays, the week after we will do more world building, unless we could somehow, by the grace of the gods, get another session the next week. But you know how D&D scheduling is. So let's yeah, so that's what we're gonna do next time. And I thank you for joining me. Thank you for your ideas and your professional opinion on drinking and alcohol and whether or not true stomachs would cause you to get drunk faster. I had a lot of fun building this out. Next time we will probably work on giantkin and or Goliaths. We may do like a similar thing for them. I also eventually do want to do the demons and devils, because I think that'll be fun. Yeah, so I will see you next time. Thank you for joining me, and have a good one. Laters.